What up, guys? George Gankis here, golf coach out of Southern California. You guys are watching the Stripe Show with my boy Travis Fulton. Let me see if I can stripe one myself. Get up here, do a little freezer up top, make sure I like it. It's all right. Enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Stripe Show. I'm your host, Travis Fulton, episode 10. Deep breath, everybody. The week that was here in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, the Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass. Webb Simpson, wow, what a performance. 18 under par, wins by 4 shots. Congratulations to Webb Simpson and his caddy, a good friend of mine, Paul Tesori. It was fun to catch up with a lot of the players when they were in town this week and some of the top coaches. We sat down with a lot of the coaches, including our very special guest here in today's show, George Gankis, an up-and-comer in the golf instruction world. I'm going to share with you some of the insight and some of the things that he likes to see in the golf swing. But before we get to all of that and your swings, let's take a look at the week that was here in the First Coast and the Players Championship. Okay, here we are, Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa. Check this out, floating hole, 65 yards. Got my sand wedge, little wind though. Yeah, little wind hitting me here, so I think I'm gonna play it about 72. You ready? Oh, I pushed it a little bit. I pushed it. Oh, it's okay, Travis. It was a great week all the way around at the Players Championship, including the weather, because now look at it, it's raining here in Jacksonville, Florida, and we're still out here for the Stripe Show, the 13th hole here at Jacksonville Golf and Country Club. It's time to get you better, rain or shine. The first Show Us Your Swing comes from Grant in Mississippi. All right, hey Grant, Travis here. Let's take a look at the swing. You mentioned in your notes that you have early extension. If you look at your hips here in relationship to that red line, right there it is. So you can definitely see it. Your hips have come way in. As you get to impact, that'll cause the handle to stand pretty upright. See the handle there, everything gets pretty upright to where it started. Okay, so there's the starting point. And then as we get down to the bottom, high hands because of the early extension. So how do we fix that, right? Well, I think what we're going to do here is we're going to really work in transition. What I want to show you how to do is I want to show you how to get that belt buckle to kind of push back a little bit more and get that left hip to open up. So I'm going to really show you some leg work, some hip work, and how that belt buckle, instead of going towards the ball, is going to push back that way, away from the ball, and that left hip, left knee start to kind of open up and really turn the corner better. And when that happens, that shaft right there will start to lay down. So instead of being kind of in between the forearms, it'll lay down a little bit, and that'll really position you to turn and keep that left hip on the red line. So I want to show you how to do this. Here it comes. All right, Grant, thanks so much for the video. A lot of good things in your swing. And what's interesting is you knew that you were early extending, right? You're early extending on the downswing. But how do you stop that, right? There's kind of a method to the madness. I want to show you that, and I want to address you from the target line view. The first thing to consider coming down is when you start your downswing, start to curl that left hand under. I'm going to show you the back of my left wrist here, the Callaway. Watch this as I start down. So I'm curling it towards that camera, not away from the camera towards me. That'll get the shaft to lay down, and it'll help kind of get the face to square up a little bit. And I like that when you start working on trying to not early extend. Early extends when the hips come in. The belt buckle comes in towards the ball, and then we kind of go up this way into the exit. So what I want you to do, as you start down and you show me the back of that left wrist to the camera and you're curling, the belt buckle needs to push back quickly. All right, see how I did that? I'm gonna sit back. I feel it pushing back, not in. All right, so here we go again. Same thing, right away, sit. Even let your heels come up. Feel that, exaggerate that. Imagine there's a wall there. Push your hips back into the wall, all right? Not towards the golf ball. When you do that, and you balance that with the left wrist, now you can let the left hip work everything back around. The handle will come in lower, and you can start working it back around this way, rather than the belt buckle coming in this way like this, and then the handle wanting to elevate like that. So here we go. We're gonna set up here. I'm gonna feel that in transition. Great way to practice it. A little pump drill, curl the left hand, push the belt buckle back, and then from there I can let everything exit back around just like that. So I like that for you. I want you to practice that and then send me another video in 3 weeks to see how things are going. All right, time for Show Us Your Swing number 2. This one is Mike in Alabama.
Hey, Mike Travis here. Thanks for sending in your swing. I think I can help you. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get you off of your toes. When you watch your swing here for the first time, you can see how when you turn, you're definitely probably out over your right toe some there. And then when you come down, your weight's definitely moving kind of out over your left toe. And you can see how your body has to kind of stand up, crunch up a little bit to counter that. Now, the second thing is we're going to get your swing to work a little bit more around. It's a little too much up and down. This first move is really good. I like this, but then when you go to the top here, your left arm here at the top, what I'm going to do is get this and get a little more depth to it, a little lower and a little more around you, and that'll allow you to swing the club down a little more from the inside. This shaft's way too high here. You can see how that club shaft's kind of on your left forearm. I'm going to lay it down a little bit more on your right forearm. And as we round that out and we get you off your toes, you're going to hit the golf ball much better.
All right, Mike, I can help. Some good things happening there, but the overall shape of your swing is too up and down. It's too much like a Ferris wheel, and we've got to get it going more around like a merry-go-round. So we're going to go to this target line view again, and one of the things that really leads to steepness is getting too much out over your toes, right? You're kind of top heavy out this way, and then you stay out there, and particularly coming down, right? And you can see how that club's gonna wanna go this way. So what I want you to do is when you get in that address, kind of feel like you push your hips back, bend your knees a little bit, and then just almost kind of feel like everything just kind of rocks back a little bit. Feel like you can lift your toes up some. You're not sitting back on your heels, but certainly not out over your toes. And when you do that, and you turn to the top, what I want you to do is start taking this left arm and just kind of round it out. Right, see my left arm here? I'm just gonna let it round out around the body. Merry-go-round, not Ferris wheel, okay? So not Ferris wheel up and down, more merry-go-round that way. Just by getting the weight back on the heels and the left arm going around this way, that's gonna help tremendously because it's gonna really set the stage for things then to come back down from here, right? And what I want you to feel as you come down is I want you to feel like the sweet spot of the club face is trailing behind. See there? Again, very flat around this way and not up and down steep this way. You can see how the sweet spot wants to get out in front of me rather than around this way. All right, so if we can do that, make everything just a little bit flatter here, back on my heels, around with the left arm, sweet spot behind the club face, and then back around the other way. I think what you're gonna see is you're gonna see the golf ball wanting to draw a little bit. And that one started out pretty straight and had a nice draw to it. So I feel very good
about that with your swing. I want you to work on that and then send me an update in a few weeks. All right, time for this week's app feature in 18 Birdies, and this one is about tracking your shots.
One of the most popular features in Premium is shot tracking. It records your favorite shots and saves them for you in your profile. You can even share them with friends. If you've never experienced it, it's a blast. Here's what you do. When you hit a great shot, go to the GPS Plus in the app. In the bottom right, you'll see a button that says Track Shot. You select what club you hit, the quality of the shot, how much power you gave it, even the shape of the shot and the lie. Then, when you reach the ball, simply touch End Tracking. Confirm everything is correct and you're done. The more you do this, the more the app learns how you hit each club, and that makes the Caddy Plus better at giving you the right club selection.
So many great features in the 18 Birdies app, and that's just another one, tracking your shots, so check that out. All right, back to last week. TPC Sawgrass, of course, the Players' Championship. Webb Simpson ran away with it. 4-shot lead. Got to catch up with a lot of players and a lot of coaches. And this week, our special guest, George Gankis, one of the hottest commodities in social media. You probably know him from GG Swing Tips, George Gankis Golf. He teaches a lot of good players, a lot of good junior players. But on the PGA Tour, he's got Sung Kang, he's got Danny Lee, who played very well at the Players' Championship, and now also his newest student is Adam Scott. He sat down with me last week, and here's the first of 2 clips with George Gankis. Back here, right outside the gates here, TPC Sawgrass, and look who I found, George Gankis. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
GG Swing Tips, good chance that you've heard of that. You're blowing up, man. Where in the world did you come from?
I don't know. Just did some funny things on Instagram, and my buddy Danny Wax, who was on the tour, he said, you got to get on Instagram. It was about 5 years ago. And he said, you know, I said, I don't get on social media. And he's all, no, you got to do it. He said, just do some funny stuff and just do some golf vids, some information stuff, and your players are blowing up your juniors. So I just did it, yeah. And it went, you know, I got a lot of haters at first, and I still do, but it was good. And then all of a sudden, things just went my way, I guess.
Hey, you're doing good, man. I love it, and I watch it, and I've talked about some of your players on the Golf Channel and broken them down.
You did a great job.
And Trey Mullins, long drive champ there.
Troy Mullins kills the ball.
She kills it. And you have a lot, like your players, I mean, they hit it. I mean, you create a lot of speed with the way that you're teaching the pivot, which we'll get to here in a second. But I know you've got some players in the field right now here at the Players' Championship, and I want to get to them. You've worked with Sung Kang a long time, Danny Lee, but you're also working with now Adam Scott, is that right?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
How's that going?
It's great. I mean, the guy already hits the ball good. It's not like I'm reinventing the wheel here. He's a baller, and he's a sweetheart of a guy,
yeah.
And legitly, people go, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, really nothing, but we changed his balance points a little bit and gave him a little more depth so he can rotate in the downswing because he wants to rotate. But so when we look here, his armpits, the back of his armpits are over on his toes. If he took it to the top and stayed in this angle, go top, and then you start it down, you'd immediately, there's very little rotation for most players. Most players go to the top again from those balance points, are gonna wanna create balance here, and they're gonna wanna stand back up, okay? Now the more he stands up, the more to get to the ball, he's gonna throw angles just to get to the ball, okay? So a lot of players, so I'll demonstrate right now. So when you look at like someone who has really good posture here, and they don't have any rounding in the back, and that's what we were all taught, will always compensate armpits out in the toes. And so immediately, most players are gonna go this way, and a lot of players will move back immediately to balance. Now they're further away from the ball, so either they're gonna go drive and get it, or they're gonna throw their arms at the ball, okay? And a lot of guys tend to be in to out and throw their arms to get it anywhere to hit the sweet spot. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I see is players out here, or even too far back, they sit back and then they move forward and then they throw their arms behind them, their shaft gets steep. And we got a lot of players saying, oh, just get it out here, now they miss the ball, okay? So you could change your shaft immediately in transition if you change your balance points, which saves you a lot of time.
Okay. All right, so many good things there. Balance points. Balance, so important in the golf swing. And what I like about that is when you get into good balance, it helps you turn better and in particular rotate better through impact. And even the best players kind of get into bad habits, as he was talking about with Adam Scott. Beautiful swing, but just getting the balance points better is helping him rotate through the shot. So if we go back to address a couple things that I really like in balance points is when you set up to the ball from this target line view here, if you were to look at the back of the collar, right? The back of my collar, if you put a line straight down, would be roughly right there on the toes. And as he mentioned, oftentimes we get too much this way, right? We get too rigid, we get too top heavy out here. Now you can see my collar is well outside of the toe line, and then from there we have to start making compensations. I see more people this way too much than I would see it this way, where the collar gets too deep in towards the balls of the feet. So just get set up here. If you have a mirror, use it. Look where the collar is, get it right on the toe line. And then even from there, maybe just take your right hand off, let it hang there comfortably, and you can see how it should return right where it was. So those are two good checkpoints for balance that I really like. And George talks about that, how he's working on that with Adam Scott. We got more good stuff coming from him as far as the balance leading into rotation on the downswing. You're not going to want to miss that a little later onto the show. But for now, we're going to show us your swing number 3, and this one is Mike Warren. Hey Mike, Travis here. Thanks so much for the video. Lots of good things. First thing I want you to do, push your hips back that way. Your hips are a little too far underneath you. Now, good job going back. Lots to like here at the top of the swing. What I think I can help you with is two things coming down. One is you can see your first move, your upper body wants to kind of go towards the ball and lunge forward. And I think in addition to that, your weight's too much out over your toes, okay? You're really out over your toes. So what I want to show you is in transition, I want to show you how the weight works a little more through the instep and how your spine stays back more, how the spine needs to stay, I think, a little more to your left, right? And then extend a little bit better through the strike, okay? Because it looks like your spine's leaning too far to the right and down here in transition with all the weight out over your toe. So I think I can really help your downswing, and I think that'll be a nice piece to fit into the middle, which is a good backswing and a lot of good things in the finished position. So check this out. All right, Mike, thanks so much for the video. Let's get into it. As I mentioned, hey, good stuff going back, good stuff coming through. Let's just see if we can improve that middle piece a little bit. And to do that, the first thing I want you to do here from the target line view is I want a little bit more hip hinge this way. Okay, so feel like that belt buckle turns a little bit more down like this. I think you're a little too level, a little too much in like this. So we're going to get there first. Now, from there, on the downswing, you're quick to go this way, right? Kind of over the top. Trail shoulder, right shoulder, hands want to go this way, out first. All right, and what I want you to do is feel like you're going to kind of wait on that a little bit. All right, feel like that stays back a bit. All right, I'm going to hold my shoulder right here and start down. Right, and not let this go busting out that way towards this face on camera. Okay, and let's go back to this face on camera here for a second, and we go to the top. You can see, boom, right shoulder, hands going right towards that camera versus waiting on it, right? So I started my downswing, lower body, went left and started to rotate, but I'm stabilizing more in here, right? And I think it'd even be good to feel like, as a drill, for your eyes to kind of focus a little bit more, not so much on that forward ball position, but say a little bit back here, right? See here, about 1.5 feet to the right as I start down, boom. All right, so I'm there rather than looking up here, and you can see how that takes it out. So if we can do that, wow, this club is gonna really shallow out nicely here from the target line, and then I think from there as you turn through, I like what's happening on the other side, and I think your body will want to extend a little bit more up this way rather than kind of hanging out a little bit forward. So here we go. We're going to try it. Get our setup here. Push the belt buckle back. Okay. Turn my head a little bit. Jack Nicklaus over here to the right. I'm going to start down. Feel some stability here. I'm back here. And then from there, I think I can turn and extend the spine through impact. Just like that. And I turned that one over just a little bit, but I really felt myself stabilize more there in transition. I hope that helps. I think it will with the driver. Send me an update here in a few weeks. All right, time to move on to our fourth Show Us Your Swing. This one is Chris Valenti.
Hey Chris, Travis here. Thanks so much for watching the Stripe Show. Really appreciate it. I think I can help you out here in the swing. Really good first move here. Like where the club head is. I'm going to get you to turn a little deeper into your right heel here, or into your right side. Get this right hip to kind of climb a little more up and back, and you'll feel a little deeper turn into the right side. I think that's going to help this first move here. Now the camera angle's not ideal here. It looks like you're aiming a little left from where the camera's pointing. So taking that into consideration, I think, you know, the first move is still a little to the outside, right? See how your hands, your upper body, everything is going kind of out towards the ball, over the top. So what I want to show you how to do is how to get a little more stability there in the upper body and get this club to shallow out a little bit more and kind of work a little bit more behind you. Get the sweet spot a little bit more behind you in transition. And that's going to get your path working a little bit more to the right. And as a result of that, the club, when it exits, see how low it is here? Watch here. See how the club shows up well below the shoulder? We're going to get that club to exit a little higher up into the left shoulder, okay? So a little backswing work, a little downswing work, and I think will improve the strike considerably. Here it comes.
All right, Chris, thanks so much for the video. Let's get into your swing, and it looks like right now, pretty steep swing, probably hitting some poles to the left, and then that occasional kind of fade or slice off to the right. Now, the first thing here is when you set up, the camera angle was a little bit skewed, so I took that into consideration. Make sure when you set up, I'm going right down this fairway right now. All right, this is the 13th here at Jacksonville Golf and Country Club. I want you to aim the face pretty much, say, middle, maybe right center. And then watch what I do with my body. I'm going to close my stance just a little bit. All right. Right now it looks like you're aiming more left center, and then your body's opened up way over here. Okay. So when you approach this fairway, aim right center, and then feel like your body just kind of closes just a little bit off to the right. And that's going to really help us hit it from the inside. Now in your swing, I want this right hip to get a little bit deeper. Turn, get deeper into the right heel. All right, don't turn and get out over the right toe. That's something I talk about a lot here on the Stripe Show, is when you're turning and that right leg is working up, get deeper into the right heel. That's important. Now, what that's going to do, it's going to allow you when you swing down is for the left arm to have some depth coming down, meaning that it's back here behind you. All right, and when this left arm, let's go to face on here for a second. When this left arm comes down to like this 9 o'clock position, your left arm's already kind of out here in front of you. If you look from the target line here, you can see how it's out here like this. So when it comes down and it's in this 9 o'clock position, I want it more behind you. I can feel it more on my chest here, right? It's more back behind me. The club's going to be more behind me, right? And that's going to allow me to hit it from the inside. That club head's tracing from the inside and then more out to the right where I feel like my body is aiming. Okay, so we set up, we get a little deeper into that right heel, and then we get some depth. Look at that left arm. Look at the club back here. It's like someone's pulling this club back here, right? It's lower, it's from the inside, and that'll allow the club to exit more up in here rather than you being out this way and then across to this lower exit, all right? So we're trying to hit this nice power draw, face up the right side. Body's a little closed, big turn in the right heel. Look how I shallowed that out, left arm and club. Almost a little Pyrrhic, look at this. Woo, I like that for you. Here we go. Power draw up the right side. There it is. And it's drawing back. That's what I want you to do, Chris, and that's going to help you with your driver. All right, this week, moving on, no 14 strong. Instead, we're going to clip number 2 of my time with George Gankis last week at the Players Championship. This is really good stuff on getting your body to be more dynamic and rotated through impact. Let's bring me down now.
Okay.
All right.
So from the start,
okay.
Let's talk about one thing. So why don't you face the camera first?
Okay.
Face it. So why don't you move off the ball a lot? Okay. Just boom. Okay, so if anybody tried to actually do my leg work from here, they're gonna be on their back foot, okay? And that's not gonna work, okay? They're gonna get stuck on their back foot. So there are players that I have that move off the ball, and those are the players that have a late extension in the mid-spine thoracic here, and they'll actually start to drift and get here. But if you move to the top, go to the top and move off the ball, if you move off it, a lot of my players are gonna wanna slide back here, okay? That's right off the bat. But the guys who go move off the bat, and then they go into a late thoracic, boom, then all of a sudden they can sit right under them and turn, okay? So it doesn't mean you can't move off the ball. You can, because there's so many guys who've been successful,
Right.
but without sliding or pushing off the trail leg, guys who move off, I would say, have a tendency to move back to here that are successful. The guys who get off here and start pushing or squat, both are dead.
So that
it's a
lot of
matchup.
that lot of side bend, right? No good. No good for anybody.
Unless you match it up late.
Unless you match it up late.
Because, I mean, I love to get some late thoracic. I mean, who doesn't? Right. But the fact it's more powerful. But besides that, there are some players that I have seen that can dig back here without getting the left side of the pelvis high, and they're successful. But so that's why I can't say you can't move off the ball. You can't do it.
You just got to match it up.
You got to match it up.
Right. Okay. So here I am. So I'm a little bit of a spinner. By the
Okay.
way. Like,
So in the backswing.
I'll hang left.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mind it because legit.
You like the space.
I don't mind. No. So like I said, there's a matchup. So if there's a guy over here, he's going to have to come into some real late extension here and really dig in the thing. But I don't see many people who can do it. Okay. But the guys who I do have create some space on both sides, how much more do they have to push? They don't. They can just dig in the ground now.
Okay. All right. Let's talk that dig.
Okay.
All right. So talk how I want to grip the ground here.
Okay. So go to the top
Okay.
and get more into your backswing we're talking about there. So you have some late extension here. So the pressure's here. So from the first move down, I like to get this lead side of the pelvis lower, and this wouldn't come in yet, right there. And you have some right lateral bend. And so you're going into right bend, front bend also. So you're getting into the ground right there. Now, from here, we still have leverage with the ground, meaning we can continue to use the ground to turn. So when I get a player to push immediately, there's nothing left to the ground, so I can't turn.
You know, I think like what I love about this is I think the Golf Swing Forever was taught lateral, then rotary.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was taught.
Right. So now it's you can rotate as you're going lateral.
Yes.
Like as you're falling left.
But the coolest part about it is that as we do it, as we're over here and we sit and turn, boom, the shaft goes right here. If we do the same thing when we go here, this shaft never turns unless you manually go into external rotation. So my guys don't manually go into externally rotate. They don't externally rotate the shoulder, okay, and they don't have to rotate the forearms, or they don't have to go into ulnar inflection or into ulnar and flexion. They don't have to do that. So the thing is once they're set up over here, they can sit and turn, and the shaft is right where it needs to be, which is really, in a nutshell, all you need to do is get the shaft on line and turn.
You know, I like it. I think, you know, you simplify the downswing for people. You don't bump.
No.
Stay in a lot of right bend and turn. You know, it's the weight's falling and you're starting to grip the ground and recruit earlier in the downswing, so then you can do something with it
100%.
through the impact zone. One more thing. I want you to talk about the club and the hands up here. One of the things I like, and I've watched some of your videos, is kind of turning into the lead arm.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And because I think that's a really good
turn
sensation.
around and face into it? Okay. So
Because this goes with the lower body action.
So I have a lot of my players say, go to the top. And I set up, and I get a lot of my players over here just for more speed. Okay, so I get this forearm parallel spine, this parallel ground, and it's not mandatory by any means, but it's a lot more speed. So when I say start down, see the pressure you put on my hand? I don't want any pressure on that, okay? I want pressure here, start down, rotate, boom. Now where's your shaft going? Keep rotating.
Laying down.
Yeah, it's laying down by itself, okay? So that's the cool part. That right shoulder will go external. This whole humerus bone will go back internal, okay? It'll go back this way all by itself. So the turning of the body and leaving the arms up are what's actually doing this. So if we threw a ball right now, we would never go like this and this. I would actually spin my chest and that thing would go external by itself if you ever thrown a ball sidearm. And we don't realize that. We think we have to put it in positions. And I think the biggest problem that I see from players is we see positions in still frames from what, P1 down to P7 impact.
Yeah.
And we're trying to hit these positions when these positions happen.
Right. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Appreciate your time, my man.
Thank you for having me.
Great stuff there from my man, George Gankis. Check him out, George Gankis Golf on Instagram. One of the best teachers in the game today, blending weight shift with rotation on the downswing and how that affects the shaft. That's some good stuff that's going to help your ball striking. All right, time for our final segment here on the Stripe Show. It is the 60-second swing fix. Put me on the clock.
You're going.
All right, Webb Simpson, the champion of the Players Championship. #1 in driving accuracy. Check this out. I'm going to have the camera right up here, up the target line a little bit. When he swings through, his chest goes up with the shoulder down. I'm going to do that again. Chest up to the sky, right shoulder down. Not the other way around. Chest down, right shoulder around. Chest up, right shoulder down. Now check this out as you go to the target line here. That really gets the club to exit nicely up around here. See there? You don't kind of dive across it low. Chest up, shoulder down. Now the club can exit up around that left shoulder area, and that's going to really set you up just like that, up the right side with a little draw. We saw that so many times from Webb Simpson. Congratulations to him, and let me give a little shout out to my friend, his caddy, Paul Tesori. Does so much great work here in Northeast Florida for his foundation benefiting kids. And I want to leave you this week on the Stripe Show here with Travis Fulton with some pictures from the event that he put on with so many terrific kids on Wednesday. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week.